Right. Good morning, everybody. We are live from the birdhouse, and if you can believe it, it is already mid-January. So I've got a little bit of a birding update here for you, as usual. If you have any questions, you can put those in the comments. We love to know what kind of things you are seeing in your neck of the woods, and if you can always just say hi. Also. Last week, we were talking a bit about snowy owl and how snowy owls were starting to be reported where I am in Western New York. There were some in the Niagara Falls region, and then also there'd been one reported down in the Finger Lakes Airport, which is down in the Finger Lakes area, like its name suggests. So if you are a Rochesterian watching this, it's about an hour away. So get ready to take a drive if you do want to go see the snowy owl. But I had success on Sunday morning in seeing it hanging out just at the airport, just at the side of the runway here. It's a very, very small airport. You can pull right into it. And there was a little gate, and on the other side of the gate is the runway. And sure enough, here she was just sitting there. Her back was towards me, but she would kind of pivot every once in a while, turn her head. And that's when this picture was snapped. So the snowy owl, the most local one to me, is the one in the Finger Lakes region, and she did not disappoint. She was right there on Sunday morning. There were also lots of ducks flying around, lots and lots and lots of ducks flying around the lake, and huge, what it looked like huge rafts of a lot of redhead ducks. So that's going to be the next field trip that I take, is going out to look for a bunch of different ducks. But boy, the sky was full of ducks flying around. It was a really, really cool scene to see. And I mentioned a week or so ago when I went to see the Virginia rail how I saw a yellow-rumped warbler, which is seasonally, I would say, uncommon, but they are they can be found in the wintertime. They're hardy enough to be found in the winter. They're not nearly as common as they are in the spring and summer. But I was a bit surprised to see a yellow-rumped warbler. Another bird that does hang around in the wintertime, but again, not in the same large numbers that it does in the spring and summer, is the northern mockingbird. And I came across one of those last week too. So here's a picture of that northern mockingbird. For the most part, all the gray catbirds go down south, but there are scattered northern mockingbirds that you can find around town in the wintertime. I've mentioned I'm doing the Buffalo Audubon Winter Birding Challenge, which has been fun and kind of getting me out and kind of inspiring me to do some of these birding challenges. And that snowy owl was kind of part of that. Not that I wouldn't normally do it anyway, but if you're looking for something to do, it did start about a month ago, but you still have a couple more months that you can do all the challenges. So that is going on. And there's still reports of that Virginia rail around. If you didn't get a chance to see it yet in Mendon Ponds, people are still reporting the Virginia rail. Looks like sometimes it's at the Bird Pond, sometimes it's at Quaker Pond. So you might have to take a little trek, but you can still see that Virginia rail, which is really cool. So waterfowl, lots of waterfowl movement, lots of waterfowl rafts out there. If you can find some open bodies of water, some nice large open bodies of water, keep an eye out for all of these waterfowl. Things like, of course, Canada goose. I saw a Canada goose out while driving around my way home from seeing the snowy owl. You can find mute swan around. I also was able to see 3 tundra swans were hanging out over the past weekend on the lake. So that was pretty cool, but you can find either one of these right now. The mute swans have that bright orange bill. It's a really good way to identify them. The tundra swan, if you can see it because sometimes it's not as distinctive, they have that yellow between their eye and their bill. Some other waterfowl that's out there, things like mallards, the black duck, redhead. I saw lots and lots of redhead out there this weekend. Greater and lesser scaup, the white-winged and black scoters, sometimes even a surf scoter you can see. But right now, the one thing that you can go out to see that you can't find later on in the season as we get into the warmer months are going to be long-tailed ducks. And they can form huge rafts of thousands of ducks. And those are just gorgeous animals to go out and see. So I'd highly recommend doing that if you haven't already. There's also ducks like common goldeneye out there, and the mergansers, things like common merganser, red-breasted merganser, even hooded merganser. And if you are out hiking or even in your backyards, you might find that some birds are starting to look at houses or maybe popping in and out of the houses. They might be looking for a place to nest in this following year and this year. As we get into the spring, they're not going to be nesting yet, but they might be checking out some of the infrastructure that you've got there in the yards. Things like eastern bluebird, its relative, the American robin, you can sometimes find in the winter also, especially going after berries, just like your waxwing. And we've been getting lots of reports of red-tailed hawks, as well as things like Cooper's hawks in backyards. And if you're out birding and kind of driving around some of these fields that you can find things like snowy owl or short-eared owl at, keep an eye out for the birds of prey like the rough-legged hawk, which is an Arctic bird that comes down south here for the winter, because they have been reported sometimes in the same fields as the short-eared owls. So short-eared owls are being reported still, especially down in the Geneseo area and Avon area. And at the same time, in the same place, you can often see northern harrier. If you go maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock, but right before it starts to get dark, the northern harriers are out there flying low over the fields, and then the short-eared owls will start to emerge. And if you're spending any time going out to look for these short-eared owls and the northern harriers, if you're watching over these fields, look for flocks of birds like snow bunting. They can make big flocks. So if you see flocks flying kind of low over a field, they don't look like pigeons or starlings. It could very well be snow buntings. And some other birds that will join the flocks of snow buntings are things like Lapland longspur, it's a winter bird down here, and things like horned lark, another bird you can find out around the fields this time of the year. So I'm still saying Happy New Year because the year is still new. Until next time, which will be on Saturday, we are logging off, but we'll be back on Saturday morning with another broadcast. And until then, have a wonderful week and keep an eye out on all those birds in your backyard. Snap some photos, send them on into us, and we'll share them here on the broadcast. And until then, have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.